This is John Young here with the Disc Jockey News. We are live here in central Minnesota, coming to you tonight from the Disc Jockey News office here. It is about 21 below right now, something like 21, 22 below outside. Since it's too cold to go outside and do anything, I thought we'd answer a few of the questions and maybe do a little chatting and get some people come online a little bit later. Yeah, we'll just kind of see how things are going to go this evening. Again, you're in the office. If you can hear it, I don't know if you can, but it's really, really cold. This building is heated with in-floor heat, and it's so cold outside that even the furnace is kicking on in addition to the in-floor heat, so it's really, really cold. But yeah, I wanted to just come online. We're practicing a little bit with Google Hangout tonight, so if you're seeing this live, which I see I've got a couple of viewers, yay, welcome. If you've never checked out Google Hangouts, you're probably like me. I haven't played with this too much. We've been mainly doing Skype and a few other things, so yay. This is kind of cool. So anyway, wanted to first go through, I've had a lot of questions this past week, and I wanted to go through in kind of a quick succession of that and talk about anything else that people had of interest in the industry. There we go. I'm going to pop that group thing, the chat up, where it is. There we are. So if you happen to be watching and you're online with us right now, that's me that just did the testing that you can check out. So yeah, one question that just came in just a little bit ago, actually. Somebody was asking about cold weather, and it's about to grip, most of the United States. So that's pretty impressive the way this cold spell that we typically hoard up here in Minnesota because we like the cold weather. We usually keep it here, and you guys don't get any of it. But you know what? We decided we were going to give you some. So gear in cold weather. Well, I am in my office, which is also that end of this building is my DJ area. This is a heated, climate-controlled, so in the summer air conditioning because we do get pretty humid. Not quite Florida humidity, but pretty close. And in winter, it stays about 60 degrees in here, and we can bump it up and down as needed. So what happens, though, is I've got the truck loaded, and I will head out to a show at this time of year. If you're talking 10 degrees below or more. We usually take some special precautions when you get that cold. A couple of things I do is, of course, all the mixers or my controllers, computers, anything that's more high-end, I try to store in a cab. I've got an extended cab truck. I try to keep those things in the cab. I don't want to have those out where they're in the back of the truck where they're going to get cold. So I like to keep those in the front of the truck where it's climate-controlled. Secondly is you've got to give yourself more time. I usually like to get in the summertime, I'll get to an event about 2 hours in advance so I can set up, check everything. If I need to run for something because I forgot something, whatever, I have some time. And then I can go and change and get ready to go. In the wintertime, that might be extended by even as much as an hour. Some of the venues that we play at are the ballroom, and then just outside the ballroom, or very close, is a pool at some of these larger hotels. And when you have a pool that close, that means that the humidity level is going to be much higher. In winter, when your gear is super, super cold, you take it in. As an example, I've taken powered speakers in, and it was really cold weather. And the first thing, you've got that condensation. If you've ever had your glasses steam up, it's like that, except on the speakers and such. You can not only have the condensation on the outside, but if it can get in, it'll condense on the inside. And I've literally had frost where I've gone into a room. The speaker was so cold that the cooling fins on the back, we had frost build up on it. That was really... It was cool, but it meant that it had to sit for a good hour before I could even think about plugging anything into it because I want it to warm and dry so it'll be as safe as possible. So battery-operated things, I wouldn't recommend leaving those outside, especially right now. I mean, speakers, powered speakers, different things like that, if they're out in the cold, they're probably going to be fine. It's just when you bring them in, you'll have to worry about not turning them on right away. But anything with batteries get drained naturally just by sitting, but cold weather will kill batteries. I mean, car batteries. You're going to hear about that in the news the next 2 or 3 days. The number of people who've got cars and car battery issues because of the super cold. And those are batteries that are used daily, but as they get older, of course, they don't do as well. So battery things, take care of those. Take care of your really sensitive electronics. Keep those with you. I mean, literally, I just walked here from the house, which our house is a little bit of a walk to get here. I've got cameras, and I've got iPads and cell phones, everything tucked under my jacket. Big jacket anyway, and I need to put that on there. It's even bigger. So just a couple ideas when it gets to this cold weather of some things you want to kind of be aware of. We don't want you to have your gear going, and then all of a sudden, you get there and okay, here's a DJ fail for you. It was probably 1993. We were headed to northern Minnesota to do a high school dance, and of course, in the wintertime, roads are kind of crappy. I left early enough, but the roads were crappy, so the 2-hour drive became a 3.5-hour drive. So I get there about 45 minutes. We move things in. I only had one little fan, which we used to take fans with us to be able to open the CD players up and to blow air into those to dry the get those little laser lenses taken care of. So we did that, and the next thing, of course, you get the lasers would read, yay. So I turned the amplifiers on. Well, I didn't move air through the amplifiers, and what ended up happening is those the amplifiers, literally, there was condensation on they fried the chips, and boom, that amp was dead. Thankfully, they had a spare amp, so we ended up, instead of using my 2, we used the spare, and it was a smaller crowd because it was so blasted cold that night. So anyway, that was one of the things I wanted to touch base a little bit. Cold weather. If you missed that, we're going to have this on YouTube so you can check it out there, because this gets sent over to YouTube. It's pretty cool. Okay, next question we've had this week. And actually, a couple of people brought this one up. Getting crap, we're doing bars at this time of the year, and when you get crappy requests at a bar, how do you handle that? I was a house DJ at up in a town called Alexandria, not too far from here, for about 10 years. During that time, we did a kind of an 80s night. We did a 100% country night, like nothing else. I mean, the only thing that brought anything else in was if the country dancers, line dancers, which tells you when this was, had a dance to the song. Otherwise, it was country only. And then, of course, we had the weekends, which were top 40 time. On the weekends, we played very little country, very little oldies. It was basically, they wanted, at that time, top 40. So you'd get people coming up there at different levels of intoxication wanting to make requests. So how do you handle some of the things that I've done with that? Generally, when I've had people come up, and again, depends on how belligerent they are. If they come up there and they're like, hey, well, let's take a wedding. Let's do a couple of wedding ones. We've got the bridesmaid come up and said, or a good, I'm the best friend of the brides, and especially if it's a guest, I'm a great friend of the brides, and this is her favorite song, and of course it's something that might have even made your do not playlist from the bride. I always enjoy that one because, if you're such a good friend of the bride, why aren't you in the wedding party? There's that. But it's a lot of it is just handling it with kids' gloves, and in some cases, in that particular one where she's the best friend of the bride, if it's something I can't play, I will nicely say, gosh, it's a great song, and I'll even say that sometimes when a song's or that's a good listening song. Wow, boy, it's something you could listen to at home, but this, we've got a dance floor here, and it just so happens, I try not to bring this one up. It just so happens to be on Janie's do not playlist. I try not to bring that up. Usually I want to do, gosh, it's a great song, but right now we've got a dance floor full of people, and they're going crazy, and I just. Can you give me something? I need something with more of a beat. Generally, that will help because they'll be like, "Oh, it's a great song, but it's too slow for us to use." Give me something with more of a beat. Because it's just I want to keep that energy up. Oh, everyone loves that song. Well, great. I realize that, and we might be able to play it, later as a sing-along song. Does everyone sing along to it? That has helped because people are like, "Well, no, they don't sing along to it," but everybody knows it. Yeah, but I want them dancing. The bar. Here's a good one for the club. The bar manager wants me to keep this floor dancing, and if that doesn't keep them dancing, boy, he's going to really look awkward at both of us, and we don't want that. So that was one way is to try to get them to find something that fit what I needed, a dancing song or something that's more upbeat. Another, if they've been really, really, really drunk, I've gotten to the point where it's basically, ain't going to happen. No, I won't play your song. That is just before they're either getting thrown out of the bar or or I'm done, I'm leaving for the night. That's an extreme case where they're that belligerent, and you've tried to be nice, you've smiled, and you try to, put a figurative arm around them and talk to them and try to say, hey, you know what? This isn't a great song, but gosh, if you pick one out, I'd love to be able to do something. Give me something that's like chupa chupa, that'd be, you're with them there, and you're like, take a look at our crowd. These gals over here just requested this song, or they've been requesting this type of music, and they're dancing. And you see the way the rest of the people are really watching how they're. We need to keep this group of people going. And sometimes, again, depending upon the level of intoxication, sometimes they'll be like, "Oh man, I understand. Let's. How about this one instead?" If they're really intoxicated, then you got to make the call. Do you just bite the bullet and play it? And then when I have done that, it's like, sure, I'll play the song. You know, okay, what's your name? Okay, my name is Philip. No problem. Philip, I'll get your song here in just a few minutes. Philip goes and sits down. Ladies and gentlemen, I got a special dedication. This one's going out to Philip. Philip wanted to hear this song, and then we play Debbie Boone's, you know, Feelings. I have done that on a few occasions. I don't recommend it, but this is the step just before you tell them, heck no, get out of here. We don't want your face in here anymore. It sometimes can save you a little bit. I know a lot of DJs are going to hear that and they're going to be like, no, I wouldn't even think about doing that because it makes the customer uncomfortable. Well, sometimes when these people are really, really drunk, that A, they won't remember it the next day, and B, they need to get slapped in the face a little bit by the guy with the microphone. And I know that sounds harsh, but if they can't, you know, be held accountable for their bad music requests, you play it, send it out to Philip, and Philip's the only one there, and he's, woo, what he's doing. And sometimes they're right, and the song is a bar favorite, and I didn't know. Philip is up there dancing. The crowd is loving it. They're sticking dollars in his pants, and it was a make it night, a song for the night. And it's like, wow, I would have not guessed. Most of the time, it's a flop. We know it's going to be a flop. It doesn't work out. And they're going to look at you like, what the heck were you thinking? Hence, we applaud Philip for making this wonderful choice. It's a tough situation. I mean, it's really, from our position as professionals, it's really a no-win situation. So, yeah, unfortunately, I wish you luck. Remember to smile. Don't stand face-to-face with them. If you can at all do it, turn them towards looking at the dance floor, because face-to-face is confrontational. But if you and I are sitting here and we're looking off and we're both talking and it's like, hey, you know, see those people dancing? And wow, there's some grandmas and grandpas over there. And I bet you they really wouldn't want to hear Prince's singing that song and that nasty part of that song. Oh, and I see some kid, you know, now because we're side by side, it's more of a team feel rather than a confrontational nose to nose. A little thing, a little tip when you're dealing with intoxicated people that will help. But that's it. So there's a few things on the drinking side of it. Let's see. We had another question come through. One of them was on subwoofers. And this is something that we're actually going to be covering this year at the NAMM show. If you guys haven't heard what the NAMM show is, it's a National Association of Musical Merchants. It's happening in a couple of weeks down in Anaheim at the Anaheim Convention Center. This is a huge place. If you haven't been to the Anaheim Convention Center, it's like long and rooms and big, and oh my gosh, thousands of booths are at this show. It's all sorts of audio instruments. I mean, there's a room upstairs with just, you know, many rooms actually, guitars and pianos and anything that you want to find that's music related, the microphones, speakers, light. So they've got the instrumentation side of it and a lot of guitars stuff. You know, that's just really, really kind of cool. If you're a guitar junkie, someday you got to get to NAMM. It's like the mecca for looking at anything guitars. You got instrumentation, you know, drums and everything. Then you get to the side, you get into the DJ end of the room. As much as I love our DJ industry, we're only about, you know, maybe this much really of the NAMM show. There's just so much other gear there that's just incredible. Maybe it's closer to a third, I guess, but just a lot there. But anyway, why I bring that up in with subwoofers is last year at the NAMM show, when you're going around and you're seeing the different setups for bands, they were doing something really kind of cool with some subwoofer placement. We've all experienced it where we've had multiple subwoofers where you've had a dead zone on the dance floor, whether it's been, you know, you're on each side, you know, my stage, let me go right here. I got my stage and then speaker, and we've had you get a dead spot somewhere out in the middle, you know, that's just kind of a dead, and then you get a boomy spot, and it's like, I just hate that. One thing they were doing last year is they were having it where they were setting subs in groups of 3, 2 firing forward, and between them, 1 firing backward. And they had these set up, and I needed to dig into this a little bit more because it was really, really cool, and they were talking about how much they could, how much additional coverage they could get, and probably the most important part is they didn't have dead spots. Wow, cool. I know when you talk to guys like Ben Stowe, if you ever get a chance, by the way, Ben's an excellent, intelligent man when it comes to all things electronics and audio. But Ben has, when he did an install for us at an establishment I was at, he had talked about setting speakers just slightly out of time align. I mean, microscopically out of time align, but just enough so that the two speakers, you wouldn't be able to detect it with the ear, but the two could work together and you wouldn't have any dead spots. So there are ways to do it, but I'm really looking forward to it this year at NAMM because of that sub thing, because that's a big question a lot of DJs have. If you've seen some of my videos this past year in 2013, I started the year where I was running, the subs stick top. So I had basically a sub and a top on each side. Then I got to the point where it's like, maybe if I go speaker stands, put my tops up a little bit higher, and I could take the subs and stack them in the middle. And I was much happier with the sound. It's like, goodness gracious. And people have talked about sub coupling, when you put two subs together, whether side by side or stack them, what have you, but basically putting them together. And in my case, I literally went and took a black ratchet type strap, strapped them together, and so they literally were together. So when one moved, they both moved to a point. And wow, the sound was just so much more that way. So what I want to do is talk to some of these audio guys and see, does a person take, in my situation where I had the two subs, put them together, and I was happy, would a third sub somehow in that configuration make me happier? I mean, one of the questions a lot of younger DJs have is they want chest pounding bass, and they, is this model 18 going to give me chest pounding bass? Is this model 18 going to give me whatever? Truthfully, I'm not into the chest pounding bass. There's a different bass sound between 12s and 15s and 18s. Let's just really look at 12s and 18s. There is a difference. The 18 is going to give you a boomier, tend to give you more of a boomier. I love 18s when I need them. But if I can get away without them, I prefer the 12 because I like the bass sound of a 12 a little bit more than I do the 18. But the 18 can give me so much more. So that's going to be a big thing, and I'm really looking forward to going and interviewing a couple of the sound techs there because, gosh, I bet there's 20 different stages that are just set up around the lower level between the neighboring hotels and out in the streets, and there's some guys with some incredible knowledge there. So that's something. Subwoofer placement. Again, what I've been doing is taking the two, putting them together in the middle. I've been really happy with that, and I haven't had the dead spots around the room, so yay. But when again we've talked to even John from Yamaha, John Schauer from Yamaha about subs. We had a video on that, and he's talking about being able to move the subs and putting them in corners and against the walls and doing things around the room. So I think there's a lot of flexibility. But I want to talk to some of the guys who are on the road and they're doing this and setting up every weekend. I mean, these are the guys who are making money off that part of the industry. So I want to definitely talk to them so I can get that information for you guys. So looking forward to that coming up here in about 2 weeks. So let's see what else did we have come through our mailbag here. Just check a couple of things here. Okay, lighting controllers. We've had some people asking about lighting controllers, and then I think that I'll probably wrap things up with this one. Some people are, we're still, using the old fashioned things, which is what most of us grew up with, whereas basically a controller that went to a pack, a dimmer pack, on-off switches, what have you, and they're getting into, they want to make that jump to DMX, and the question is, what's the best way to do it? Do I go with a simple board? Or do I go with a more elaborate board? How does a person do it? My advice right now, as I see it, and now I'm not a DMX expert whatsoever. Some people watch some of my videos and accuse me of not knowing what the heck I'm talking about. Well, that's kind of cool, but truthfully, actually, in that particular one, I did. So whoever it was, shame on you. My thought is, if you're savvy on a computer, do the software. Jump to software, because all the guys that I'm talking to who are really into DMX, they're doing software things, and they're able to plug in and install the different driver, what have you, and they can do incredible things. So if you're seriously looking at going DMX, don't spend the money on don't buy a $200 DMX controller. Just go save up a little bit more, go DMX, computer controlled right away, and I think you're going to be happy with it. There is a learning curve. I mean, it's not like a plug and play. There is a learning curve, but once you have it down, some of the guys I've talked to who do this on a regular basis, they can program a half-hour custom light show in time. Not no time at all, but it takes some time. But it's an incredible show. If you've seen some of the video footage that we've done from the different shows, the Chauvet booth or We had a really cool from American DJ from LDI, because they had a really neat display. Omez Lighting was another one. We did a video at that where you could actually see this. It was going to the song and such. Those guys took some time, several hours, as a matter of fact. You know, talking to John from American or Nick. These guys have put a lot of time. And Adam, I believe, I think they were the guys who programmed. Anyway, they put a lot of time into programming these things. But now they're not talking about a half a dozen fixtures. They're talking booth, and the LDI for American DJ was, the sides, and then the big circle up on top, and there's just a lot of things going on. And they could probably, they're knocking that out in, a couple of days. Yeah, we don't have that amount of time, but we also don't have, 150. They might have had 200 lights in there. I mean, oh my gosh! If you didn't get a chance to check out the video, go to our YouTube, youtube.com/discjockeynews, and you can go and see exactly what that all is in that light show, because it was really incredible. Again, this is Minnesota. It's really cold, and you just heard my furnace kicking in, and I really don't want that to be kicking in right now, so I'm going to shut it down remotely. So here's a neat little tip, completely off anything DJ. That the Honeywell thermostats that are hooked up to Wi-Fi are really sweet, because I can control it with my cell phone from anywhere in the world, and I can literally see what the temp is in the building, and I can shut the furnace off from here, which is actually the controls are in the next room. So there you go, a DJ tip that you weren't expecting. So anyway, okay, so we've covered some of the topics. A couple of videos that I want to work on this week for you guys, because I've had people asking about video karaoke, how I'm handling karaoke and how I'm handling video. I did a couple of videos where I've talked about being able to download the karaoke song, basically playing a game, like a where they basically come up and they want to do an idol type performance, and they will pick a song. They'll come up and they'll register, and hey, my name is Jamie, and I want to do the Fox. Can I? Yeah, no problem. So I take her name down and go, and I'm hooked up to the internet that's being broadcast from my phone, and I can go to the website and find the song, download the song, bring it in. I'm completely Macintosh. Bring it in, use another piece of software to translate that to a movie file, and I can do that, and it probably can be done, depending upon how well the 4G is. That can be almost done inside of a minute. If I'm really, if I can do this and not be too interrupted too much, I can literally have it ready to play inside of 2 minutes. 2 minutes was the longest. So what I did is I downloaded it, converted it, moved it into a program, a DJ software called Megaseg. Megaseg, if you've never checked it out on an Apple or on a Mac, it's a nice basic playback. The only thing I really not excited about with it is it's not as intuitive, or it's not as easy to beat mix as some of the other beat mixing software. If you're a virtual DJ person, virtual, hands down, is much better when it comes to beat mixing, because you've got your waves going, your audio wave showing, and then you're able to the sync button, and it will actually sync up, and it'll sync up the beats. While Megaseg has a little bit of capability with that, really, for the wedding DJ, if I had to choose between the two, I would go Megaseg. I do that with Megaseg when I'm doing weddings, and I do that when I'm doing karaoke type shows or corporate events. The only time I use virtual is when I'm doing high school, and I want to do some beat mixing, and I want to match up the beats. I want to be able to see where the end of the song is coming, or where we have a transition, because you can see that when you've got the waves there. The audio wave, it will show you, and you can see, oh, there's a transition coming right here, and then I know that's where I'm going to go boom, and I'm out. When I'm doing a wedding, I really don't need that. I'm going to be playing popular songs that are older songs. I'm going to be playing from beginning to end, and I can set the end points in the beginning, the cue in the beginning, and the segue at the end where I want them to be, and then that's got a playlist. I can line them up, and literally I can line up 3 songs, and now I can go out and I can talk to the bride a little bit and check and see how things are going with her. If everything's, how is she doing? Is it, we've got a few more things we want to be doing, and can I get you, whatever. It gives me some time, and I don't have to worry about running back and, oh, my song's just about over, and running back to the booth. I love that with Megaseg. The second thing I like with Megaseg is you can put a break in there. So I have my list of 2 songs, and I want to play this song, and I want to have a break where it's going to stop playing because we're going to do an activity. Well, I can let those songs play. As an example, say I'm doing the chicken dance, and I've got that playing, and then I'm doing a hokey pokey. After this, what I want to do is I want to do a teddy bear toss with all the kids. Get the bride out and do the teddy bear toss. I can set those two. Now, while they're playing that, I can be out there with the kids and getting dancing, getting them involved, especially with the chicken dance, because if you don't do the chicken dance with the kids, you're missing out on a huge referral spot for referrals. But you can go and do that with the kids, and then we get into the hokey pokey, and I usually start with the kids with that, and then I'll drift off and I'll go get the bride. They're doing that, and the grandmas and everyone's out there now, so then I don't need to be there. I will go get the bride, and it's like, okay, do we have the teddy bear? Do we have that great? Do we have the person with the candy bar, the bucket of candy bars? Great, we've got that. Okay, and everyone's in a position with the candy bars or whatever they're doing as a secondary thing. Off they go. Then the song ends. Ladies and gentlemen, look over. Here we are. Woo! Whatever. I'm being a little bit of that cheesy DJ because, well, I can't. But anyway, that works very well, and I like that because then at hard breaks there, the music stops. The only negative thing is the light show's still going. If you've got a light show that's just kind of set to auto, that's something that I've dealt with, and we can cover that in another video. So anyway, software. I need to do that video this week. I want to show you how the croaky side of it goes, and I went long talking about that. Sorry about that. My bad. So that's a video we're going to touch on this week a little bit on how to put all of that together. Aside from that, let's see. There was one other thing we talked about that I wanted to go back and catch. We were talking Megaseg. We were talking weddings. We were talking. I don't remember what it was. This is what happens when you get older. You start to forget things. This week on DJNTV, it's DJNTV.com. Disc Jockey News TV. Thursday night we'll be going live again. We will have a couple of different interviews. I've got a couple of people. We're looking forward to Josh Yan is going to be one of our interviews if things work out that we can catch up with him this week. If you don't know Josh Yan, Josh is an author. He is a personality for a game show personality for a family. It's a TV game show, and I apologize. I don't know more about it. I see the posts about it, but I've got to find out more about it. So we can talk to Josh, and he's going to tell us about that. What's really kind of cool about it is he's one of the few DJs taller than me, and he's a really, really nice guy. And I'm looking forward to the interview. So we'll be doing that, and I've got a couple of other guests that we're going to get lined up. But that'll be going live Thursday night, so you'll be able to bounce in there. Go to DJNTV.com, and at the top will be the viewer. We'll be putting that up Thursday afternoon, so you can check that out. If you go there right now, you'll see our video from last week. Jason Jones, Bill Herman, and I, we talked, just kind of rapped about the industry a little bit. Some of the upcoming events that are coming up, NAMM. Bill and Jason are headed down to Australia. I mean, they're from Minnesota right now. They're enjoying this 20-some below. They're headed down there to where I think someone said it's 140 degrees. Well, obviously not where they're going to be, but wow, that's incredible. So we talked about their trip to Australia and then the difficulties of putting together, something. And you're here, and the event is on the other side of the world. A lot of you may know that the Disc Jockey News, we have done conclaves and conferences, and generally we've done those in Minneapolis, which isn't too far from us. We've also we've done some other places, and one of our big ones was down in Dallas, Texas. The amount of work to go from Minneapolis to Dallas, Texas is just astronomically different. So it was really kind of curious to see how they were able to do that. So if you didn't get a chance to check that out, you need to pop out DJNTV.com. Go watch that video of Jason, Bill, and I, and you're looking at you're watching a video of three friends just kind of having a good time together. That's kind of a cool thing. And then coming up after that, Mobile Beat. We also talked about Mobile Beat because that's something that we've all been to. We've all had our lives affected by in a positive way. We met a lot of our best friends in the industry. Kind of a funny story. And again, you watch the video, we talk about it, but we didn't talk about this on our video. One of the very first conventions that we went to down in Las Vegas. We were in a hospitality suite, and I couldn't tell you whose it was. I mean, this is just, so we're in this hospitality suite, and a friend of mine takes a picture of me. And it was myself, my wife, and we had some DJs with us of our staff at the time. And ironically, when we look back at that picture, in the background was this really loud, obnoxious DJ from Minnesota, and it was Bill Herman right there. Okay, so he wasn't the obnoxious DJ, but he was pretty loud. But it was funny that, one of my first pictures, my first trip to Las Vegas, and one of the few pictures we took that year, right in the background of that picture, right there is Bill Herman. Who would have thunk? Turns out that I ended up getting to know the guy and became very good friends, as I am great friends with many people from around not only the United States, but I've got friends around the world. And probably 80 to 85% of that is because of conventions like the Mobile Beat convention, where you've gone and met people that you just, yeah, online we can meet a lot of people, but I've met a lot of people online that are really, really kind of jerks online, but when I meet them in like Las Vegas or Atlantic City or anywhere like that, it can be some of the nicest people. They just don't come across too well. So that's another topic we covered. So yeah, I think that's going to kind of wrap it up for me. I wanted to be on for about a half hour, and I'm probably just a little short of that, but we've covered the important topic. So this is John Young with the Disc Jockey News. We'll be coming back to you Thursday night with DJNTV. We've got another week, and then we're off to NAMM. And at NAMM, you're going to get to see, well, okay, we're not logging off quite yet. NAMM is a Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday thing. Again, all the new gear, this is where it's shown. We're going to be getting in Wednesday. We're going to be showing you some sneak peek stuff Wednesday. What you'll need to do is you'll need to subscribe to our YouTube channel, which is youtube.com/discjockeynews. Subscribe to that, because you're going to go and you're going to find information there that you will not find anywhere else. Last year we were the first one with probably 24 different videos on some of the absolutely new things out there. I mean, one of them was the NS7 too. No one else knew or had that. We had that up on websites already Wednesday. So you're going to see that again this year. We're going to have a sneak peek for you on Wednesday with some short videos just showing you, saying, hey, this is it. Watch tomorrow. And if I get lucky, I might get some reps who can give us a more in-depth interview Wednesday. But generally, it's just that setup day, and it is complete craziness. So then Thursday, Friday, Saturday of NAMM, we're going to be having videos going up with all the new things for you to check out. I'm really excited. I've gotten some sneak peeks of a couple of things, and yeah, if you've been looking to get some new lighting, some new sound stuff, I think 2014 is going to be a killer year to look at some of this stuff. So we'll be back Thursday. Next week we'll hit you a couple of times, and then we're getting ready for NAMM 2014. So signing off, this is John Young with the Disc Jockey News. Thanks for watching.